Today we're going to be looking at 5 etiological factors for alcohol use disorder. So the first one, pharmacological vulnerability. So this really says that individuals that experience differences in how they react to alcohol may also lead to their risk of developing an alcohol use disorder. So there may be some individuals who have less sensitivity to punishment. And so as a result, they drink and perhaps they don't get as sick the next day. They don't feel as bad. And so because alcohol isn't as punishing for them, they're more likely to continue using it. And as a result, they are more likely to develop an alcohol use disorder. From the other end of the spectrum, those who drink and immediately start feeling bad, perhaps their body has trouble metabolizing or dealing with alcohol, excuse me, they are more likely to drink less and thus less likely to develop an alcohol use disorder. Next up, we have expectancy theory, which states that your expectations around an event influences how often you do it. Excuse me. So for alcohol, for example, if you expect positive outcomes, you're more likely to drink. If you are very into weightlifting, for example, and expect that alcohol will reduce your ability to put on muscle, you may be less inclined to drink and have low expectations. And as a result, you may choose to drink less. And the less you drink, the less likely you are to develop a substance use disorder for alcohol. Third up, we have tension reduction theory, which basically says that people may be drinking to self-medicate, right? So individuals who are dealing with a lot of anxiety, a lot of negative emotions in a certain day may drink to feel better, right? May drink those feelings away. People who come to rely on alcohol for that, for feeling better, are more likely to develop an alcohol use disorder. Personality. So this is an interesting one. Alcoholism actually used to be considered a personality disorder, but nowadays there are at least two identified personality traits that are associated with alcohol use. The first one is disinhibition, which, for lack of a fancier term, is impulsivity. And the other one is neuroticism, which is a tendency to experience negative emotions. So if a person's personality showcases one of these two traits, they are more likely to develop an alcohol use disorder. And before I get to the last one, I do want to emphasize that if you have everything here, it doesn't mean that you are definitely going to develop an alcohol use disorder. It doesn't mean that bad things are going to happen. It's just to monitor it. These factors promote the likelihood of you getting or of somebody getting a disorder, but nothing is one-to-one. You can have all of these and not have it, or you can have none of these factors and still get alcohol use disorder. Just an important point to note. The last thing I want to talk about cultural factors. So here in the US, we may still see commercials of people drinking, having fun, right? Whenever you see a commercial for a beer or another drink, you notice them sort of like at a party or having a fun time at a bar or something. By watching that, we think that it's going to be a positive and good time, right? Our culture shows us that we should expect alcohol to lead to a good time, right? So because drinking is very much embedded in US culture, think of like college, think of like peers and everything, it can often lead people to drink more, as opposed to other countries where alcohol isn't as widely portrayed positively portrayed widely, they're less likely to drink. An example of this changing over time is if you think about smoking. So commercials for smoking used to be shown in a similar way, where the person who was smoking would be considered cool, they'd be shown in a positive light, and it would lead to more smoking because it was a culturally positive thing to do in the US to smoke. And so as a result, since we don't have those commercials nowadays, it's part of why perception about smoking has changed in the area. And I want to throw in one last thing here. Really interesting. Actually, no, that's not related. Okay, anyway, those are my 5. I was thinking of something else, but these are my 5. If you have any other ones, please let me know. But yeah, I hope you learned something new today. Thanks for clicking.